An illustrated talk by Dr. Jindal on the continuing engagement with the culture of kawaii in multiple areas of fashion design, manga, anime, and lifestyle in Japan. The Japanese word kawaii, translated as cute or adorable, characterizes a segment of Japanese popular culture. Designer and artists draw inspiration from its aesthetic, while some young people practice it prolifically, often gathering in groups at favored spots like Harajuku in Tokyo to exchange fun ideas for their personal style statements. This event is endorsed by the Japanese Embassy in India as an event of the Japan Month 2024. We are honored to have with us Ambassador Amarendra Khatua chairing this talk. Dr. Khatua is former Secretary, Minister of External Affairs, and former Director General, Indian Council for Cultural Relations. He's an author and poet with many publications to his credit. We just had a small conversation and he's written as many as 50 books. Our speaker, Jindal, artist, scholar, curator, holds a Ph.D. in Japanese art history from the National Museum Institute, New Delhi, as Japan Foundation Fellow. She studied at Doshisha University, Kyoto. For a year, she was a research professor at International Research Center for Japanese Studies at Tokyo. Her engagement in Japanese scholarship has continued for several decades and reflects in her artistic style. And I request our chairperson, Ambassador Khatua, to take over.
My job is very simple. She is very good and her presentation will be superb. But when we are talking about kawaii, we must understand the concept first. I'll speak for 5-10 minutes on that, then her presentation, then we can discuss it. When we are in Japan, we have lots of erudite systemic evolvement. Say you talk about kabuki, haiku, very scientifically they can explain. But kawaii, no. Earliest trace of kawaii you can see in, for example, Lady Murasaki's 11th century novel, Tale of Genji. Just a hint of that. Later on, you can see in Hello Kitty by Sanrio in 1974. Manga or anime, comics and animation, and youth culture, gradually it has transcended and has become part of popular culture and lifestyle. Kawaii is in fashion. You talk about Lolita fashion, you talk about hair accessories, you can talk about advertising, you can talk about toys and idols, then you can talk about product design. It also influences entertainment. If any of you wants to read books outside, L. Miller has an excellent book. L. Miller. The book is Kawaii, Crafting the Japanese Culture of Cute. Then there is a book called H.Y. Kerr, Kerr, Kawaii and the Cultural Rise of Cute. These two are excellent books to understand what kawaii is. The meaning of kawaii, like when you talk about, is something like cuteness, childlike innocence, charm and simplicity as popular cultural phenomenon. It can be called persona of cute, lovable, evolved someone or something with no negative traits. After becoming popular culture, there is something called, there is also creepy cute and gross cute. They are contradictions, but they are part of the whole kawaii culture. What I will do now, I forgot about to mention, Soichi Masubuchi, kawaii syndrome he talks about. Cute and neat, how in this popular culture is granted over beautiful and refined. Then there is Tomoyuki Sugiyama, who talks about kawaii as cool Japan. These are all Japanese concepts, evolved now, and this is part of Japanese popular culture and more. Now we'll go for the presentation. In between, we'll discuss. I'll tell you about the books, about the comics, about hair accessories, textile designs. But her thing covers almost everything: fashion, design, anime, manga, lifestyle in Japan. Let's start with the talk. Then we'll, during discussion phase, we'll talk about more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, so these are the regular kind of interpretations or translations, but it's also something which exudes positivity. So I'll explain this as I go along, especially with examples of kawaii products, of kawaii in everyday life. Kawaii, when it started, was a much loved theme with young people. But then later on, which was in the 70s, and then later on, it became very, very popular with all Japanese across the board. Any kind of age, any kind of profession, any kind of background, and today it pervades all of Japan really. So, kawaii, the concept, can be applied to inanimate objects or living beings. The characteristics should be of kawaii, which could be in mannerisms, in looks, of course, in behavior, in actions. So these are some of the ideas which come across in what is kawaii. So kawaii aesthetics reflects in many areas of Japanese lifestyle. The merchandise is designed around this concept, and something which I'll be showing you many slides of is the young people who hang out at a place called Harajuku, which is near the Meiji Shrine in Tokyo. And in the 70s, somehow the young people, they discovered this place, and they kind of made it their hangout, and this was like a boom for their creativity. Amarendra has already spoken about the origin, but I'll just also repeat it a bit. And the first reference to kawaii was in the Tale of Genji, which is a very, very famous novel by Lady Murasaki. It's from the 11th century. But in this case, like kawaii, I just told you, cute, adorable, charming, pleasing, all that. But in this, it was a bit of a pitiable kind of a interpretation of kawaii. You know, like a woman is docile and weak and meek, and so maybe she's a bit of a pitiable person. But later on, over the centuries, the meaning changed, and I'll hop over straight to the 20th century. And it derived from a word called kao hayushi, which means face blushed. So like the slide that I have there, the girl holding like that, you know. And then it was more something which was you associated with females. In 70s, when there was a kawaii boom, you had maru moji. These characters which you see here, they are the Japanese hiragana alphabet, and they have been written in very rounded forms. I don't know if any of you have done it, but I remember when I was in school, we also loved doing like this, you know, making them very rounded and very comic-like looking, and then hearts and other things could be added, you know, words like love or positive words could also be added. And then the real boom came with the Hello Kitty line in 1974. I just like to bring your notice to the two slides there on the top, they are from a very, very famous woodcut artist called Utamaro, and they are from 1802, and this was a very, very famous set of woodcuts called the 10 physiognomies of women. So different 10 kind of women. So the lady at the right, she's very confident, very reserved, maybe slightly arrogant, and the girl at the left, she's just a 15-year-old, and she's peeping into a toy box, and she is what might be thought of as kawaii. Okay, and at the below that we have a picture on the left of Seiko Matsuda, and this is from the 1980s, and she was dubbed by the media as an eternal idol, and you had any number of women who followed her style, and this was the beginning of kawaii. Sorry. So what are kawaii aesthetics? They are characterized, one, by a lot of color in everything, whatever the objects, the whatever is happening, everything is very colorful. Pinks and blues are particularly favored, and then soft pastels are also favored. Then you also have the vintage colors, you have the forest colors, all those are also there. Many Japanese elements are also there. If you look at any of these pictures here, you may think that they are not very, conforming to Japanese, but the traditional, Japanese, but it's not like that. Even Japanese elements are also there. Then kawaii is also something which is small and vulnerable, something which you feel like protecting, which you want to sympathize with, and kind of, make your own. And be the protector. So it kind of induces these kind of feelings. Then some of the embellishments that go, bows are very popular, flowers, glitter, all kinds of embellishments which could go to a real excess also, if you like. Then cute animal characters are very popular, the cat and the teddy bear, of course, and then various kinds of sea forms. Japan is an island country, and of course they have a lot of sea forms all over, so they reflect also a lot. And then, like I said, you will see it pervaded in all aspects of Japanese life. So just a very interesting one is top right, which you have, that fish figure. And what is that? That's actually a barricade for a building site. This you find all over Japan, You have all these pipes, and the connectors are various animal shapes, kawaii shapes. So it's like something which is actually troubling people. You can't go there. They put a barricade, but then they try to, in a way, say sorry by putting something cute and interesting like that. The big eyes, small mouth, a broad forehead, round face. These are some of the features which work with kawaii aesthetics. There's an absolute multitudinal products of kawaii in every area of Japanese life, whether you accept it or not. We have this concept of that the Japanese are extremely hardworking, which of course they are. There is a very strict dress code for the office goers. The salary men, they are called, and they have this black coat and tie and whatever, but that may be there. But then on the other hand, you will notice even with those kind of people, their keychain will have a cute animal image. Somewhere or the other, a bright pink color will peep out, even with boys and men. So it's there like all over. Of course, this the room which is here, this is like, of course, like a little excessive. Everything out there is like overly cute and very girly and very, young girl, that too. And then, of course, so many products. You have like interior sofas, you have a carpet there, you have a cape. You have the milk bottle which has these cute prints on it, and of course the teddy bear is extremely popular. Then this one here, this dress, this animal dress, the young people, boys and girls, they wear it and they go for their picnics and their parties, especially in the sakura season, the cherry blossom season. Just like we on Diwali go berserk, they have so many barbecue parties under the sakura trees, the cherry blossom trees, and they love to wear these kind of dresses. And they don't have this thing that this is only for little children, even grown-ups, they like to wear. So Japan is home to manga and anime. I'm sure you all know about it, and I'm sure you've all seen, because manga has made a huge impact in India also. Today's children, rather than grow up on Disney characters, I grew up on Disney characters of Tom and Jerry and Casper the Ghost and what have you. But the next generation, they've all grown up really on Japanese characters of Doraemon and Pikachu and Pokemon and so many others like that. Now, manga is the just to differentiate between the two. Of course, manga and anime is a huge subject. One can talk on it for hours and hours. The scope of this talk certainly does not encompass it. But still, just to differentiate, manga is the comic book form, the cartoons, the still ones, and anime is the animated form. So the games you have, the videos that you have, the films that you have, that is anime. That is the difference. Otherwise, both are done in cartoon form. Now, the popular kawaii characters are Doraemon, he's on top, and then you have Sailor Moon, you have, Totoro. It's a very famous film by Ghibli Studios. Yeah, I'll just have some water. The Ghibli, whoever is going to Japan, you have to go to Ghibli Studios. They are in Tokyo, somewhere on the outskirts, and they are totally devoted to manga and anime. And they are highly successful. And in 1988, they made a film called My Neighbor Totoro. This is extremely popular in the West also, this film, and they keep having more stories related to the central character. The central character is a giant spirit. Is inspired by cats, by tanuki, which is a Japanese raccoon, and owl. The markings on his chest that you have here, these are of an owl. So it's a composite animal figure, and it's a gentle and kind spirit. The Japanese, they believe in something called kami. Kami are spirits or deities which reside in everything around us, not just living things like we think of living beings as gods, but even in animate things or spaces. For example, stone or mountains or rivers, even they have kami, and the kami, they are benign, benevolent spirits, and it's up to us how we treat them. If we treat them with reverence, then they will also give back positivity and wellness to us. So I'm sure this boom in Japan, it has its origins in this, and very often the manga that you see, the stories, they are very magical, very fairy-like, very otherworld. Like Doraemon, I don't know if you know the story, so he goes into the past and he tries to change the past. This has been copied in an Indian movie with Aishwarya Rai and Akshay Kumar, I don't remember the name. The same story. So it's very magical. Like you're going into the past for a positive thing and you want to change whatever's wrong in your present. The bottom here is very interesting again. The cat bus. This is the Toro's bus, so the face of a cat. It's utterly fascinating. Like I said, manga and anime, one could go on and on. So I'm just taking a few examples here. So one more example of manga I'll take, and that is of Pokemon. So we all know Pokemon, and all our children know about it, and they really have the cash registers ringing. What they do is they keep on bringing out more and more Pokemon characters, and children, they exchange the cards. So at present, I think there are more than 1,500 characters of Pokemon. The most famous that we know in India, I think, is Pikachu. Yeah, this little guy, he's Pikachu. These are all the Pokemon characters. These are all of them. Like I said, there are more than 1,500 of them. And Pokemon is there everywhere in Japan. Just about everywhere, especially Pikachu. Yeah, and on the top here, that is the ANA airplane. They have about 10 airplanes which have been painted with Pokemon images. And there are other airlines also who have taken it. Big corporations, banks, government institutions, many of them, they have taken kawaii imagery as their mascots, as for their promotional material for their advertising. And Pokemon has been estimated to be the world's highest grossing media franchisee and one of the best selling video game franchise. So that is not just in Japan but internationally how well it is doing. Another brand name which is doing exceptionally well to the present day, that is Hello Kitty. I'm sure you all know about her also. This is by Sanrio Japanese entertainment company, which focuses on kawaii culture. So Hello Kitty was created in 1974 and she had an immediate success. And who is she? She's a fictional character, very bright-eyed, kind-hearted girl, and so cutely she is described that she has a height of 5 apples and she has a weight of 3 apples. So you have a huge variety of kitty products. At the bottom right, you have the Kittyland store in Tokyo and the staff over there, and only a few I have put there, you know. So like that's in the pink one in the middle, that's also a picture of the Kittyland store. At the right side, that's food items which have imagery of Hello Kitty. It's pretty expensive, by the way, because it's a brand name. It's like Barbie. You know, anything that's endorsed by Barbie, by Mattel, it's going to be expensive. It's not going to be cheap. And Sanrio has also made Puroland in Tokyo, which was in 1990, and this was in direct competition to Disneyland. Disneyland is also there, which is also very popular. There are other theme parks like this all over Japan, in Osaka and wherever. So this was in direct, Disney is very popular in Japan. It's not that it isn't. But probably the Japanese cartoons and comic characters have a slight edge over them. Coming to mascots, a very, very sweet concept that you have. And as I said, big businesses, companies, government offices, and cities, prefectures, cultural institutions, they use them as their brand ambassadors. Like we use humans as, whichever famous film star. Here they use them as mascots. So I've listed out some of them. I'm showing you only 2 of them. I've already said about Pikachu. He was there on the ANA airplane. And then at the bottom, that picture, that is of a Koban, a police kiosk. And that Hello Kitty is acting as brand ambassador for the police. And on the above, that teddy bear, very, very famous. Again, a great favorite, a great money spinner is Rilakuma. It's a relaxed bear. This concept you will find a lot in Japan, like because they work so hard, they literally break their backs, the post the Second World War, the 60s, that particular generation, it said they just broke their backs to bring Japan to what it is today. And even today, they are so disciplined, they are so hardworking, and they work like, 10, 12 hours a day, many of them, maybe on weekends and all that. So this concept of being able to relax is quite important to them. I'll just go back here. Okay, I don't have a picture. There is this, Sanrio brought out some more characters for more adult audience, and one of them is Gudetama, which means lazy egg yolk. So it's a yellow egg yolk, which is like an amoeba-like, and he's very lazy and always lazing around and relaxing. So same concept, be relaxed, just not work all the time. Please give some time to relaxation also. This black bear out there, he's Kumamon, and he is the mascot for the Kumamoto Prefecture, and which was done to promote tourism in 2010. The cost of the whole campaign cost 9 billion yen, and within 2 years, Kumamon managed to get back 13 times over. 123 billion yen in 2 years. And the prefecture, Kumamoto Prefecture means state, like we have Haryana state or whatever. So Kumamoto allows anybody to use this character. So people use it for all kinds of products, on t-shirts, wherever. I've shown you so many products, and even other countries like Thailand, Vietnam and all, he's very popular, and it's free. They don't charge, but thanks to that, he's like very widely known, and it really rakes in the money to this day for Kumamoto Prefecture. Their tourism is really booming. So it's a bear, black color, with red cheeks and always grinning and cute and smiling and what have you. So I have a very cute video of him. So I'll show one more example of how kawaii is used in advertising very successfully. To come back to Kumamon, in 2016 there was not a tsunami, there was a hurricane, earthquake, which caused a lot of destruction, and after that Twitter was flooded with messages of Kumamon, are you okay? Because people just, they call each other Kumamon. So, it was flooded with messages like that. That's how popular he is. Now, this particular advertising campaign that I'm talking about, this has been described by actually my Professor Fumikazu Kishi of Doshisha University. And he has written on kawaii. He's coined the word kawaii-ness. And this is an analysis of TV advertisements, and he describes kawaii-ness. He says the expanded use of kawaii since the 1970s by young women who made it a versatile word. So kawaii has become applied not only to something small and or weak, but also to naive and or immature in regards to his appearance, nature, attitude and behavior. And that at the same time in terms of the evaluative aspect. It has grown to encompass meanings such as fascinating and wonderful. That is what it is today. It's not just cute, it's also very appealing, something with which you can bond, which gives you a feeling of relaxation, of happiness, of positivity. That is what it is today. And that is why it appeals to everybody across the board. Kishi Sensei says, Professor Kishi says that there are three aspects to kawaii. One is the object itself, two is the effect on the viewer, and three is the resulting bonding which it causes. So it could be, most times it could be protection, it could be sympathy, it could be love. So three aspects to kawaii. Now, the campaign that I am describing here, that he's described rather, is in 2010, the Cross Company, they wanted to promote their brand, Earth, Music and Ecology. And that's a clothing brand. And in that, it's a very simple short dress the model is wearing. I'll just show you the video of that. And it was an absolute boom. It was so popular, this ad, that within a few days of the ad, 1,300 dresses were being sold a day. And they earned billions of yen just because of that one ad. Because Ao Miyazaki, the model, she's a 25-year-old at that time, she was thought to be highly kawaii. She's got a round face, she's very cute, she's very simple, and so all of these appeal to them. One thing I forgot to mention when I was talking of the origin was that shoujo manga. Shoujo means women, this manga created by women, and the readers were also primarily women. That contributed a lot to the kawaii concept. This was in the 1970s, and shoujo manga has revamped itself many times. Now, some of the quotations that were said about Ao Miyazaki. She's incredibly kawaii. She's so kawaii, she takes my breath away. How is it possible that she's so kawaii? It's amazing. Mystery of the human race. So I'll just show you the ad and you can judge for yourself. So what is the ad? She's singing a song it's an old song from 1001 Violence, and she's taken a few lines of it, and the lines are not really meaningful. It's like I'll take a eraser the size of the Himalayas and I'm going to write and do big things with it, and so on and so forth. She's playing baseball and she's singing very badly and there are little children who are playing, and she's not even probably been invited, but she's kind of joined them. She's not even been able to catch the ball, but it's okay. The whole thing is, it's all right. You're so kawaii that we accept you. Yes, the kawaii-ness. We accept you as you are. So that's the video.
ヒマラヤほどの消しゴム一つ楽しいことをたくさんしたいミサイルほどの手を片手に面白いことたくさんしたい Yes! ミュージック&エコロジー
And as I said, this advertisement had the cash registers ringing for cross company. So, and you saw the dress she was wearing. It's very simple, actually. Maybe you can't make out. Uniqlo and Miniso in India, they do this kind of things rather than the colorful ones which I showed you in the beginning. It's like vintage colors, but it had puffed sleeves, it had pin tucks and whatever. And she had a fringe. She has a baby face, of course. So now coming to one of the impetus, the starting points of kawaii was the young people at Harajuku. 1970s, as I said earlier. So the young people used to hang around, and they were like artists, musicians, performers, theatre people, or all that. And somehow it became like an outlet for them, for their creativity, their energy, for them to bond, for them to form a community of their own. Because it was a form of street art and it was a cultural expression. And how did they express it? Mainly through their clothing. In this section that I'm talking about, it's mainly about the clothing and all the accessories that go with it. It's very colorful, very playful, experimental. There's a mix and match of all kinds of styles, and Amarendra has already mentioned about the creepy cute and the gross cute. All that comes in this section. The slide at in the middle, that round one, that says Harajuku Champs-Élysées. So I presume you know Champs-Élysées is the fashion street in Paris. So it's been described like that. On the top left, that slide is of Harajuku station on a Sunday. They all congregate on every Sunday and they all love to do, they're like human art. They dress up themselves like works of art. And of course, you see the lady here, how she's dressed. So I've listed out here some of the fashion styles. There are more actually. So I'm not going to go into them, really. And I'll just talk about maybe Lolita and one or two more styles I'll talk about. But you can see how many are listed here. And the picture at the right side, this is the Ganguru Gyaru style. And what is this? This is extreme tanning and extreme makeup. Here in India, we are using creams and whatever to become fairer, and she's tanned herself. She's put on some brown makeup to look like that. And of course, the huge bow is there and the pink hair is there. This colored hair is a big thing. So you have things like Hime. Hime is princess. So of course the princess crown and that princess, that magic wand. And when you do it like this, it goes that whoosh, something like that, Then Kimo Kawaii is the creepy cute, and Gothic is a very dark aspect that you have. Fairy Kei is like dreamy, whimsical, nostalgic, and Guro Kawaii is again the creepy aspect. I'll describe the Lolita now. So this was influenced by Victorian fashion, which is 19th century England, and it was like, and within that there were more styles like Gothic, which is a little dark, then there the sweet and the classic. So the pink dressed girl at the right, she is the sweet Lolita. So normally this has this, this kind of a voluminous bell-shaped skirt. Often you have Victorian drawers which are peeping underneath. You have long socks, and pinks are of course a popular color. And this one is more vintage that you see. The other, lots of girls, and they're all wearing colored wigs that you can see. You have the punk Lolita also, which is a mix of whatever all these elements, Victorian plus punk. More on the fashion styles. So very, very colorful, this one. So this is Pop K. And then the Fairy Kei. The Fairy Kei, you can go off, and then the Yume Kawaii, where you can go off into a dream world. And in the dream world, you can do whatever you like. There are no restrictions at all of any kind. You're entirely free, totally free to do what you wish. What may look maybe foolish to somebody else, maybe infra-dig to others. It's all right, And this concept of kawaii is rather abstruse, I think, for non-Japanese to understand. But if you really get into the thick of it and you look at it that way, I think we can understand that it is very, very interesting, very appealing, very pleasing. So this is the Guro Kawaii or the Kimo Kawaii, which is the creepy, grotesque aspect, which is a bit of a contradiction, because whatever I've talked about kawaii so far is all sweet and cute and whatever. And now this is, if you look at it, the right side, those are skeleton outfits that you have. Left side, that guy, he's wearing all these chains and he's got a black mask over his face. Then they color their eyes also. They somehow color the eyes. Then they'll have a pirate eye patch. And a weird kind of a hair, of course, that you have. A lot of black that goes into this. And this style is like more popular with boys. Like most of the things you saw so far, they were more girly. And you did have some boys, who also like to go for it. Here on the top left, you have a boy who is dressed up also in pretty colorful style and all. But generally the boys, they tend to go more for the Guro Kawaii, the creepy kind of grotesque kind of a thing. But I put these two slides here that all of this, it's some of it is also second-hand stuff that they buy and they mix and match and they put together, as vintage stuff also and all that. But this Harajuku, from there you walk to Omotesando, from there ahead you go to Ginza, which is the most expensive real estate in the world, the fanciest area in the world. What Saks Fifth Avenue is or Champs-Élysées, that's what Ginza is. And so it's lined with all these high fashion stores and all. So the Japanese also love them. So this boy is wearing a Chanel glasses, and this girl here, she's wearing the regular kind of a dress, much like what we have on Janpath. But she's carrying an LV bag, I'll come to LV a little later. And just please enjoy some of the visuals. So the kind of the way they are dressed. So from Harajuku, the top right, from Harajuku station when you emerge, and there is this back street. And it's absolutely jam-packed on Sundays. It's what our Janpath is, The young people really love to hang out there. And not all of them are totally kind of fairy-like and E.T.-like and, non kind of down-to-earth-like. Okay, like if you see here these girls, they are more regularly dressed. But some of the other, you will see the kawaii elements coming. Like the keychain, you have the teddy keychain.
Accessories.
Yeah, the accessories, exactly. you know. In the boys, like, if I can point out, like why I put that slide was, like, he's wearing regular jeans, okay, the torn ones, fine. But then that little pink thing, you know, the chains, all these, you know, they show his interest in kawaii. So I'm not going into this. There are lots of fashion subcultures, like I've listed them, but I won't go into that. So more of what, I'll wind up actually. So more of kawaii in what areas you have, in so many areas of entertainment and video games and gaming. And in food also, they have something called the bento box, that is like the packed food box. It's very cutely done. More than the taste, of course the taste is important, the look is extremely important for Japanese, you know, and kawaii plays a lot of part in this also. Then even the candy, that will be in interesting shapes, like right side you see these are desserts, so the way they are made, so it pervades in so many things, you know. So now if you look at Murakami's work, he takes elements of manga and anime very much so, and also Western cartoons, Disney cartoons also. Like top left that you have, that is an adaptation of Mickey Mouse, and he's created the character called Mr. Dob. And on the bottom right you have like the wall full of, you know, these kind of kawaii characters, and they are all contemporary art. And he has also done a very great thing, that there is no such thing as high art or low art. You know, you wouldn't count of cartoons as high art, no, something that you'd buy for crores of rupees and all. But he's changed all that, and that is of course him only. He's wearing a kawaii hat over there. Now, I'd like to say that Japanese are very, very, very nationalistic, and they are very much interested in their culture. And whatever you just saw, it may seem that, you know, none of it has got anything to do with their traditional culture, but they follow all their festivals, including all the young people. So all the slides that I'm showing here, they're all featuring young people. To the left, this is the Gion Matsuri, which is in July in Kyoto. It's like a Rath festival in Odisha that we have. Yeah, and this is drawn by all young people that you're seeing here. Okay, and on the right side, this is Seijin no Hi. So this is in the second Monday of January every year. And once you come of age, so earlier it was 20 years was coming of age for boys and girls, and now they've made it 18, I believe, you know. So they dress up in their traditional costumes, their kimonos, and the boys, they have a particular kind of trousers along with the kimonos, so they wear that, and they go to the shrines for blessings. On New Year's Eve also they go. I have seen in the middle of the night, young people, they're coming to the shrines and taking blessings. So they haven't forgotten their traditions. Whatever you just saw was like non-Japanese looking. So I'm just winding up. So why is kawaii loved so much? So it's a cultural phenomenon which is increasingly accepted as part of Japanese culture. Integral Japanese culture reflects in all areas of life. It's an outlet away from the grey, stressful life of responsibility, of strict rules, of social behavior, of restrictions, of too much hard work, and just as a form of escapism maybe, but escapism has a certain overtone of negativity to it, okay? But in a positive way. You're not hurting anybody by having this kind of a outlet. So it's a release from the difficulties of survival in contemporary society. So just some more visuals. I've already talked about it. And you see the salary man at the right side, and then there's a one Hello Kitty dressed up person, and they're all bowing to that character. So there is something kawaii in many aspects of life in Japan. Now, there's wars going all over the world. Incessantly, एक war खत्म होता है, दूसरा शुरू हो जाता है. And look at the effect of all those bombs to the environment. We don't even realize. We think it's in the Western Hemisphere, it's in the Northern Hemisphere, way, way far away from it. But the entire environment is getting full of those bomb pollution. Surely it will affect us also. And then after that, I turned my sight to my window. Outside the window, there was a tree with some yellow blooms, and it was full of yellow butterflies. They were flying around all the day, all over. So that was my Kawaii moment for today. Apart from all this, of course. So I have just one question to everybody. How about you also questioning yourself? Do you have a Kawaii moment? When do you have? Today did you have? Tomorrow will you have? If you could ask yourself. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I would like to thank Ambassador Amarendra Khatua for taking out time from his busy schedule. We enjoyed his creative and interesting inputs and the books, of course, that you've recommended to everyone over here. Thank you to our speaker for the fun talk, which was a revelation to all of us on how we can perhaps lighten up our lives. Thank you to Japanese Embassy in India for endorsing this event. As an event of the Japan Month 2024, our thanks are due to India International Center for providing the forum and hosting this talk, and of course, to the audience that we have over here. I hope after this talk, you also remember your Kawaii moments. Thank you.
Yes.